Come again?
Hmm?
Excuse me?
Huh?
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 Asking people to repeat themselves, well, it just gets old. And pretending you heard what they said can lead to embarrassment, I know.
Yeah, untreated hearing loss can influence your mental well-being and your physical health. May is Better Hearing and Speech Month, and it's to raise awareness and promote understanding of hearing health and communication disorders. Now, someone who knows all about hearing loss is Dr. Shekina Mast, owner of Mast Audiology Services in Seaford. Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, I bet you that you encounter all sorts of people that try to just sort of adapt to their hearing loss because it's gradual over time. So they're just like,
Kind of
"That's
sneaks
fine."
up on you.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
So,
Never hear it coming.
So the
Thank
average
you. I'm here all day.
person,
I'm sorry. Please go
you
ahead.
are fine. The average person actually waits about 7 years before they finally actually do something about from the time hearing loss starts to when they actually do something about it. So, which is way too long. That's part of why we
Wow.
have Better Speech and Hearing Month, to try to reduce that number. So,
Yeah, that's a long time.
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? We kind of alluded to the fact that other issues can arise as a result of hearing loss, and some of them are surprising too. Can you kind of
significantly increases your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, memory issues, cognitive decline, things like that. Significantly increases your fall risk, actually, because the hearing and the balance system are the same system.
Equilibrium,
There's
yeah.
two parts of the same system. So when you're not treating one, the other side is affected as well. So you are much higher fall risk. Depression and anxiety skyrocket, social isolation, things like that. You start to withdraw because you're not hearing as well as you should be. And you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to respond inappropriately. So you stop answering as often, stop participating as often, and then stop going entirely, which ends up, that social isolation is a really big deal for the brain. The lack of stimulation matters.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Now, are there different types of hearing loss? Or okay.
Yeah. So there's hearing loss that's where the nerve is just kind of generally degrading over time. And that's the most common. So hearing loss because of noise, hearing loss because of aging, like general breakdown of the system. The medicines we're exposed to, all of those types of things contribute to that. And then there's, of course, like a conductive loss, which is basically an obstruction. So a plug of wax that's in the way, or fluid from an ear infection, things like that. The bones are just not moving the way they're supposed to because of arthritis, which is actually, they are linked. So things like that. There's lots of different causes, but there's almost always a treatment to try to help. It's not necessarily a cure, but a treatment to give this brain the stimulation that's not happening.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of treatment,
Not at all,
right?
No. So if you're going to a place where they're trying to sell you something before they even know what's going on, that's a major red flag.
Yeah,
Because essentially your treatment plan should be based on a number of factors, including the hearing test, but also looking in your ears, removing any wax that's in the way, checking for fluid, and your case history. So how active are you? What kinds of things are you doing on a regular basis? Do you go out a lot, or are you mostly just trying to hear the TV better? Like that changes very significantly what's appropriate to treat the loss.
Now, can you quickly walk us through a screening process? I have hearing loss from
Music.
both music. Yeah,
Yes.
she was paying attention earlier, and also 8 years in the Marine Corps, being around big heavy
absolutely.
guns. So
Yes.
I've got a constant ringing in the
Yes.
ear. That's always fun. I walk in, you're going to screen me.
Yes. So very first thing we do is there's a little bit of paperwork to fill out with specific questions that are there for a reason. Essentially, it kind of helps guide that conversation. So we go through your case history as far as the types of things you've been exposed to, what's been going on, what you've been noticing, what family members have been noticing, things like that. And then we start by looking in your ears, because if there's wax in the way or something like that, then that's going to affect the test results. So if there is wax, we get it out for you. Typically, we're almost always able to get it out the first time, which is good. And then if not, you can try drops and come back, and that'll just soften it up a little bit, whatever. And then from there, we go into the testing room. So we will check for fluid behind your eardrums, make sure that that's not a factor in the testing as well. And then we test both the pure tones for air and bone, so through the headphones, and then also with the bone oscillator to double check what kind of hearing loss it is, if there is a loss. And then words. So how well do you understand? Even when it's loud enough, are you understanding me? Like, this is not a volume issue anymore, because that part of the nerve is a different part. So if the clarity is declining as well, we have even more issues that we need to kind of address, and the changes our recommendations with the technology. And then from there, we kind of go through those results, and again, talking about lifestyle, talking about the types of things you're doing, if you're still working, if you're retired, if you're very actively retired, things like that, to decide what level of technology, what style, because even just the size and shape of your ear might change the style that we recommend.
And once you find that, you know, the problem and you treat it, it has to be rewarding for you.
Oh, it's the best part of the job, for sure.
Getting their lives back.
Watching people kind of light up when they can hear you better, and their life is, and coming back after the first week trying them, and you know, their entire life has changed already.
That's awesome.
So they're a totally different person, is really legitimately the best part.
Dr. Shekina Mast of Mast Audiology in Seaford, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Very
Thank you for
interesting.
having me. I appreciate it.